A deadly 24 hours in Louisiana.
We have about probably 20 to 30 homes that are damaged. Several are destroyed.
Last night at this time, tornadoes hit the Shreveport and Monroe areas, killing 2 people.
The possibility of a tornado heading towards the Mamou and eventually the Ville Platte area.
Then this morning, a tornado warning for Evangeline Parish. That storm also caused massive flooding in Ville Platte.
The rain bands and wind gusts pretty solid.
Just before 11 a.m. this morning, the storm system moved south, putting Iberia Parish under 2 tornado warnings.
There's actually 2 tornado warnings, 2 separate tornado warnings for your area there.
That storm system created twin tornadoes that went through the southern part of New Iberia. When the rain stopped, we got our first look at the damage around New Iberia, where at least 6 people were injured.
I could hear windows breaking and everything flying around.
It was the worst 3 seconds of somebody's life.
Then later this afternoon, that deadly storm system moved east into the New Orleans area, killing 1 person in St. Charles Parish. It's been a deadly 24 hours in Louisiana. KLFY News 10's team coverage begins now.
From Acadiana, your local news leader, this is KLFY News 10 at 10.
Thanks for joining us. At least 2 tornadoes touched down in New Iberia today, causing heavy damage. Here's some intense video out of New Iberia. Fortunately, there are no fatalities reported in Acadiana. Iberia Parish President Larry Richard says at least 6 people were injured. Only 1 remains in the hospital tonight. News 10's Dalford Jones has been out in the field in New Iberia all evening. Dalford begins our team coverage. He is live from the tornado-ravaged area. Dalford, we're getting a look even tonight. The damage is still as devastating as earlier today.
Darla, as you said, it has been a long day throughout the state of Louisiana, but especially here for the folks in New Iberia. But even tonight, at 10 o'clock p.m., there's a family just over to my right. They've lit a bonfire, and they've got the pit rolling. They've got a little barbecue going, trying to get this family fed. But fortunately for them, they can sleep inside of their apartment tonight as there was no significant damage. They're still without power, but unfortunately for the people about 2 doors down, they can't say the same. Here in the Southport neighborhood, the property owner has already began to board up several of the windows as they were blown out during this tornado that hit the New Iberia community roughly about 11 o'clock Wednesday morning. You can see the debris spread out. We're talking about windows, entire walls, television sets, ice chests, even a microwave, part of the debris that's spewing about the Southport neighborhood. Now, as we get around to the rear of this building, I want to show you guys something, just the sheer strength of this storm. You look up there, you'll see that an entire section of brick was blown out from that room. Pictures left on the wall as part of the damage. Now, as we turn around, I want to show you guys something. About 80 yards away, it might look like a mound of dirt to you, but that is the roof of the building we just showed you. And that's how strong this storm was. Roughly 120-mile-an-hour winds took the roof off of that apartment building, carried it 80 yards away into a sugarcane field. So when the people return here to the Southport neighborhood, they've got a lot of mess to clean up. Now, a couple notes for you. When you do come home, you will need to show proof of residency, as there are law enforcement officials at the entrance to this community. We're going to continue our team coverage with News 10's Britt LaFaso. She's here in New Iberia and had a chance to speak with a couple of the residents affected by today's tornado.
Yeah, hey Dalford, I'm in a neighborhood about 10 minutes away from you. And the residents here tell me that this tornado touched down just before noon today. And you can see it only took less than 5 minutes for this tornado to rip all of these bricks off of this dance studio, and it ripped the partial roof off of this daycare behind me, and of course did a lot more devastation to all of the homes in this neighborhood.
We just have a lot of Silatex down, insulation all over the place, water lines are down, but you know, the good Lord don't give us anything we can't handle.
Franny Boffett built this dance studio when she was only 19. Now 69 years old, she says the damage from the tornado will not stop her from teaching her students.
It's my love. I've been doing it for so long, you know, and it's just been my baby for 50 years, you know, so we have to rebuild.
She says luckily she canceled classes for her preschool and kindergarten students who are usually here Wednesday mornings. Businesses around her, though, were open.
I heard the nursery school had kids in there. Nobody was hurt. The dentist office had patients in their chair. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. So God blessed us in that way.
Many people in this neighborhood thanking God they're alive.
We have damage inside the house, the room's total loss, but we saved our lives. Thank God for that. I mean, we're safe.
Larry Broussard Jr. also thanking God for small blessings through this tragedy.
I walked to the front door, unlocked it, and my tree's still standing here with the presents. They're damp, but we can rewrap them.
While you can now see the sky from his living room and his sunroom is completely gone, he's thankful.
We came out of this good. I don't want to go through it again. My wife can't handle this.
And though many are grateful, they say prayers are needed.
Just pray for this neighborhood because it really is a devastated area.
And the mayor of New Iberia and the police chief is here as well, say that they have implemented a curfew for the Southport neighborhood, which is where Dalford is. And like he was saying, they are asking everyone to show proof that they actually live there, and that curfew will end at 5 a.m. Reporting live in New Iberia, Britt LaFaso, KLFY News 10.
All right, thank you for your coverage tonight, Britt. Here at Southport, we saw a lot of damage, and like Mr. Larry said just a minute ago, they came out of this thing good. What we're about to show you next is one of the harder hit areas. Just to my left, about 100 yards away or so, is the mobile home community next to the Southport apartment complex. Our News 10's Rodrika Taylor had a chance to catch up with the folks who live there.
Take a look at the bricks that collapsed on the side of this apartment as the tornado came through this neighborhood. Many families were displaced in the Southport apartments and surrounding areas.
I was on the telephone with my daughter because she lives in this trailer right here. And I was screaming and hollering at her, and I couldn't hear her. I mean, it just happened like that. Within 3 seconds, it had wiped out everything.
62-year-old Johnny Drew Sale says he was alone when the tornado hit the ground.
Out of my chair to my door, I couldn't open my door up. I couldn't move. I couldn't do nothing. My trailer was shaking so hard, and I seen everything just flying all over the place.
Is this the first time a tornado passed through here?
Yeah, as far as I know, you know, first time a tornado passed, and it passed with vengeance. We okay, thank God. So, but if anybody experienced it, they know what we're going through.
New Iberia Mayor Freddie Delcourt says help was quickly offered to residents.
We have a lot of damage. Many people lost their homes. We have about 5 or 6 trailers that are severely damaged, plus apartment complexes. So it's not a good day. The bright side is there are no fatalities and no major injuries, so we're blessed because of that.
We all know when events like this happen, natural disasters like this happen, people are out of their homes. They have no homes. They have a lot of needs. So we're going to ask the public to come together and help the people that need, and we're going to continue to assess that as we go.
As many try to move forward from the aftermath of the tornado, local authorities encourage residents to be cautious of areas still with down power lines. In New Iberia, Rodrika Taylor, KLFY News 10.
So as you can see, though we're in a rural part of the community, it's still a very densely populated area with multiple family homes. And if the storm would have been at least a quarter mile to our southeast, it would have missed the mobile homes, the apartment complex, but unfortunately it didn't, and it continued to travel throughout the community of New Iberia. News 10's Dawson D'Amico has more from in town.
Devastation struck here on a state street, as behind me you can see one example of what the damage did to this dentist building. I spoke with the owner of the office, who says he and others were inside of the building when it all occurred.
We were at the office seeing patients, and then all of a sudden we got a tornado alarm, and everyone migrated to the sterilization room, which is in the center of the office. And I was wondering, man, what's going on? He said, you better get in here. So I got in there.
It was at that moment the entire building came down.
Blew out the front of the office, tore off the back and top of the roof.
Wow. Dr. Derwan says he is grateful for how the community responded to what happened as soon as the coast was clear.
It's good. Everybody, I mean, we've got so many calls of people helping us and you know, checking on us and everything like that. And our office is destroyed. I've actually got a couple of calls about being able to use a vacant office for the time being.
Now, I spoke with the family who says even though this is a huge setback, they're not going to let this ruin their holiday season. In New Iberia, Dawson D'Amico, KLFY News 10.
So as you can see, this storm did not choose favorites, and even a place most people retreat to for refuge or for help or treatment was damaged. News 10's Renee Allen has the damage over at the Iberia Medical Center.
The damage sustained here is clearly visible, but what's not visible to the naked eye is the impact that all of this will have on residents in the area and trying to receive medical services. Now, the Attorney General, who is from New Iberia, Jeff Landry, he was out here surveying the area along with the sheriff. And Jeff Landry, he spoke about getting resources to the medical facilities in the area through an emergency disaster declaration. Of course, that'll be done through the governor. Also, along with him was the sheriff, Tommy Romero, and he wants people to stay away from those areas where there is a lot of damage and debris just still sitting on the ground. Yes, they are in cleanup mode, but safety mode is just as important.
We ask, while the cleanup, naturally we have to do some cleanup to be able to assess properly closer, so what the needs are for the hospital. So we're going to ask people who are driving by, just coming out just to look, to please refrain from doing that. It really causes us some issues when we're trying to get emergency vehicles in and out, or repair vehicles, or pickup crews to pick up the debris that lays around, because that's a big hazard. So we ask that the general public try to help us out with that. We would really appreciate it.
Tornado touched down at the Iberia Medical Center here probably early in the afternoon. We're told that there are reported about 5 minor injuries. There were some people here receiving services as well as some employees. And again, the focus here is being safe. Renee Allen reporting for KLFY News 10.
From homes to businesses, this storm ruined a lot of people's days, and we're going to be busy cleaning up for quite some time. Our storm team meteorologists have been telling us to expect severe weather throughout the week. This is what we got, and you're starting to see the aftermath all over Iberia Parish as well as the state. We're going to head back to the News 10 studio into the Weather Center with Chief Meteorologist Heath Morton and Darla Montgomery.
Yes, thank you, Dalfred. As you saw in the video, a lot of the damage, and we were able to show quite a bit of it, but maybe for another perspective, you can help us out. You were tracking these storms, and you can actually show us the actual path that the storm took.
Yeah, the storm came out of Vermilion Bay, and it had a little rotation. Then once it got to Iberia Parish, it started rotating more. They issued the warning. They issued the warning about 10:40, and it touched down about 10:45. So they did issue, the National Weather Service did issue that warning just before it touched down, and then it got real tight rotation there as it moved across New Iberia. At Southport neighborhood, that little subdivisions where it hit Amador Drive, and then it moved across and hit the medical center as it crossed to 182. Then it went up toward a state road. It actually kind of made a northerly track after it crossed 182 there. It was moving more to the east-northeast and took more of a northerly track. But the first touchdown there was near East Admiral Drive, and it was on the ground for a few miles, and then it lifted. Luckily, it did lift when it did, and there could have been a lot worse for areas to the northeast of there. And look at this area here, a lot of businesses and very populated, so it did hit just to the south of a lot of these businesses. Unfortunately, it did hit several areas here, like the medical center, and we can see there that subdivision. And the National Weather Service will actually go out, and they're going to assess the damage tomorrow. I'm thinking EF2, maybe EF3, but they'll go out and see what it looks like tomorrow and give us an estimation of what the winds could have been with this tornado. Darla?
All right, thank you, Heath. That severe weather turned deadly in other parts of the Bayou State. In St. Charles Parish, one person was killed and several others were injured. A tornado touched down there around 3 p.m. and left behind damage that included downed power lines, potential gas leaks, and blocked roads. The St. Charles Parish president has declared a state of emergency. A 30-year-old woman and her 8-year-old son were killed during a tornado that hit Keithville yesterday. Yoshiko Smith's body was found under storm debris, and her son Nicholas Little's body was found in a wooded area. Autopsies have been ordered. More live team coverage from New Iberia is coming up. One homeowner explains what happened when the tornado touched down.
This is severe weather coverage of the tornado that hit New Iberia.
Now, here's the live Doppler storm team, Chief Meteorologist Heath Morton.
All quiet now after a stormy day. Nothing going on as cool air works in, and we're going to see that cool air for a while, but a lot of rain fell today. And we thought that this might be an issue, and it was across some areas, flash flooding. We saw that over Evangeline Parish and up across northern parts of Jeff Davis Parish. You can see there's 7.6 inches near Eunice, and then 6.9 to 7 just to the west of Eunice. As we go a little further north here, we'll show you what it looks like as we had, look at that area there. That's about, let's see, I think it's 9 inches of rain east of Bunkie, and 9.2 and 9 inches there along, looks like Interstate 49. So the models kept showing a swath of 5 to 7 inches, maybe 8 inches of rain, and this is where it fell as the storms kept training over this area. Not as much down to the south, but we also had the tornadoes. We had damage there over eastern parts of Evangeline Parish, and of course the damage in Iberia Parish. Elsewhere, not that we know of, we had damage, but it only takes one. And we had that damage that was pretty significant down in Iberia Parish. The weather looks much better tomorrow, and it looks better for the next couple of days. As we take a look at temperatures down to 50, it is chilly out there, especially with that north wind. 46 Shreveport, Dallas at 47, 21 North Platte, Nebraska. So the spring-like weather is gone, and we're going to see this air mass for a while, as I don't see any real warm air coming back anytime soon. 47 off Lucis, New Iberia is at 50. Here's what it looks like on the satellite and the radar. There's the cold front that came through earlier today. All the thunderstorm actions moving into Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and the Florida Panhandle. High pressure will build in from the north. You see a nice clear sky west of us. That will be our weather as we go through the day tomorrow. Lows tonight lower to mid 40s with a north wind. Wind chills in the upper 30s to lower 40s. As we take it through the day tomorrow, a nice December day. Temperatures where they should be for this time of year in the lower to mid 60s. By 7:30 tomorrow evening, we're in the mid upper 40s. And as we take it through tomorrow night, we're going to see temperatures dropping back down in the lower to mid 40s. As we go through Friday, maybe a little cooler, 61 to 62. Clouds start coming in Friday night, and I do have a 20% chance of rain on Saturday. Most of the showers may stay offshore, but a few sprinkles are possible late Friday night and Saturday. Overall, I think it looks like a nice weekend. 44 tonight, clearing a lot of those clouds, already moving on out. North winds at about 10 to 15. Bust out forecast. It's going to be a cold start to the morning, 45. As we look at the morning, temperatures slowly working up into the upper 40s. We'll see a lot of sun, though, 10, 11 o'clock up to about 56 degrees. On our way up to 65. That is just about perfectly normal for the 15th day of December in South Louisiana. And then we're looking at some showers possible Saturday, more showers Monday into Tuesday, but not expecting any severe weather with that system.
When we look back at these images that we've seen from throughout the entire day, as many people have said throughout the day, we're used to dealing with hurricanes, and we know what widespread destruction looks like. But what's so fascinating and sad at the same time with tornadoes, you can have a perfectly fine home, and just a yard away, another one is wiped out and completely gone.
Yeah, and that's the way it is with tornadoes. I mean, you may have one that's not touched, you know, 10 feet away, home could be demolished. They work in weird ways, very isolated. They may skip one house, hit another one, and as you can see, you know, that was a tornado. The Weather Service, they'll go out and look at it, but you can see that we saw it on the ground. So.
And they'll let us know like wind speeds and things like that, so we can better understand what happened.
They'll give a classification, probably an EF2. I'm thinking maybe 130 mile per hour winds, but they'll look at it and see.
All right, Heath, thank you so much. We're back after this. New tonight out of St. Mary Parish, a massive fire sparked by lightning struck a 3,000-gallon oil tank this afternoon in Berwick. Fire officials say it happened just after 1:30 p.m. in an area off River Road. The blast from the explosion compromised nearby tanks. News 10's Dalford Jones has been in New Iberia all afternoon, where Tornado 2 actually touched down. We now join him live once again with more. Dalford.
Yeah, Darla, we've been able to see the aftermath and a lot of the devastation here in New Iberia most of the afternoon. Even tonight, some families still cleaning up. The family just over to my right, they've got a fire going. They're barbecuing, just trying to get some food in their system and brighten the lives of the family they're here visiting as they stay in their apartment for one more night. Now, about 3 miles away from here, over on a state drive, they took on some pretty hard damage as well. Zane Hogue has the latest.
I spoke with a homeowner who says it happened just like anyone who's experienced a tornado. It started with the sound.
Yeah, I heard the train. You know, they say a train. I heard it. And when it hit, I mean, I was in my house and I could hear windows breaking and everything flying around. Ran into the hallway, me and my wife.
Curtis Dugas says though the tornado only lasted 2 or 3 minutes, it wreaked havoc on dozens of homes.
You can see all the damage that occurred, you know. But nobody got hurt, so everything's okay.
When the tornado was passing over his home, he remembers he had only one thought on his mind.
I was looking up to see if my roof was still there, you know, the ceiling, if it had taken off the top of my house, but it didn't, you know, because the house was shaking. It was really shaking. But, and then all of a sudden, it stopped, like the tornado went away.
When it was over, he was able to check out the damage. He says luckily he has only window and water damage.
But other than that, everything's, you know, repairable. Everything's fixable, so.
Many people in this neighborhood have already started repairing their homes and their roofs. In New Iberia, I'm Zane Hogue for KLFY News 10.
Things are repairable, and probably the best news today, no deaths in Iberia Parish. Reporting live in New Iberia, Dalford Jones, KLFY News 10.
All right, does past bowl coaching experience help Coach Des? He responds to that coming up next in sports.
The KLFY News 10 Sports Center. We are Acadiana's local sports leader.
Good evening, everyone. Getting another football game. Well, it's huge for the Cajuns, and first-year head coach Michael Desimo gets those extra practices, the extra time to evaluate players, and this will be the first appearance in the Independence Bowl for the Cajuns, but it will be different. It will be their 5th different bowl game, that is, for UL since 2018. Louisiana's appeared in 4 different bowls. This one, the second bowl game for Coach Michael Desimo. He says the preparation for this one a bit different.
Just trying to walk that line between managing your players and their health and really their physical, you know, status and where they're at, and trying to keep them, you know, certainly you want to get them healthier for the bowl game than you were week 12, and still continue to get the work that you need. So you try to manage that and figure out what's right for your team. So we've done a lot of good on good, but a lot of our focus has been with the young guys, which is a little bit different than when you play the early bowls.
That's sports. We'll be right back.
And it's going to be cool out there tomorrow morning, especially with the north wind, 45 degrees north winds at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here is the morning forecast. As we can see, temperatures up to about 56 degrees, 10 to 11 o'clock. It's going to stay cool through the day, 65 for a high. That's very close to normal for this time of year. As we take a look at the next 7 days, just a slight chance rain on Saturday. Got some clouds over the weekend and cool with highs in the upper 50s.
All right, the good news is weather better tomorrow,
yeah.
So the cleanup process even beginning tonight. Really,
exactly, yes. No severe weather tomorrow. It looks good for the rest of the week.
All right.
Yeah.
Weather in a word. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.